Hey everyone, it's Jen. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have some project shares for Saturday Morning Makes. Happy weekend to everybody. I hope you are doing well and that you've had some crafty time this week to work on some things. I had some fun this week. I was working on these new Dianna Marcum digital stamps, and these are available right now in her Etsy shop, which I will link down below. You may know that every month Dianna releases a new set of digital stamps in her shop, and it's only $5 and you download it immediately. You can print them out as is, that's what this size is, or you can resize the images to any size you want. So it's really nice and fun and versatile. So I again will link everything down below. I am an ambassador for Dianna Marcum stamp projects this year, which I am very excited for, both on her Etsy site and with Adorn It. So yeah, I am excited to show you some projects that I've been making with these stamps. So I put some Post-its over them. You might be wondering why, but I just don't want anyone, any manufacturer to take a screenshot and to copy these. So that's why I'm doing that. I don't know if that'll work, but anyway, I figured I would try. But this month for May, there is the chicken chowder recipe, which is really, really cute. And then there's a hen in a basket and a tag that you can customize too. So I used each one of these and I'm anxious to show you my projects. So we'll start with the first one and I will show you the products that I use, most of them anyway, well, I did some regular stamping on it as well, in addition to the digital stamp, and I used some Memento Tuxedo Black ink for that. I used some Distress Oxide in tea dye to age it a little bit. I used this stamp on the inside of one of the projects that I made, and this is from a little Stampin' Up set called Holiday Hannah. I used this die set, and this is from Uniquely Creative. I love this because it has little cross stitches and stitch marks on the edge of the frame that it creates. I don't remember where I got it, but this is the name of the company and the website if you are interested. I used a little hero greeting. I used the one that says "You inspire me," and it's really tiny and it fits on a small tag, which is great. And one of the projects, I used this sentiment. It's a little bit bigger. It says, "Hello, sweet friend." I used a couple different paper pads. I used this one from Kaiser Craft. It's called Nan's Favorites Collection. Love this paper. And I used a little bit of this one. I just hauled this recently. This is Farmhouse Living by Stephen Duncan. And I used a tracing wheel too to add some faux stitching. So the first project I made is this little tag, and this one I printed out, I think it's about, yeah, this is the regular size. So this is what comes, already on the file before you resize it. And that's where I used the Hello Sweet Friend stamp. And I think it's really, really cute. I started fussy cutting it, and then I realized I guess it's okay as a piece of ephemera, but I would rather use this as like on a card or something, because you can't really put a tag on a tag. I don't know. I shouldn't have fussy cut it is what I'm trying to say. So I think it came out really pretty, but I would have liked to use this as a card base instead. I guess I could still put it on a card base, but anyway, so that was my first one. Colored with alcohol markers. I just have a variety of alcohol markers in my stash, and that's what I used. So I did another one, and this time I resized the tag to make it a little bit smaller, and I did use this one on a card front. And I really like this one. I like it as the focal point of a card. So I just stamped it on some 80-pound white cardstock that I had, and use that little hero arts greeting stamp, "You inspire me," right there. And then I created a dimensional butterfly die cut. This is I've had this butterfly die in my stash for the longest time. I got it from Allie, otherwise I would link it, but it comes in a set. I'm sure you have butterflies that, or dies you can use. I used teeny tiny little buttons from Dress It Up in the corners of this first layer. And this paper is from the Nan's Favorites collection from Kaisercraft. I just love it. I think it's so pretty. I wish I had a whole stack of those papers. But that's where I use that square die with the cross stitch and the on the outside of the frame. And then I went to my sewing machine and stitched the outside of the frame. And I did it kind of wonky, not on purpose, but I think it does add to the homemade look to it. So I just went with it. And yeah, just other couple layers of papers just to add a little bit of interest. It's pretty flat besides the butterfly, but I think it looks really cute and country and just kind of homespun. Had a lot of fun coloring this tag. I think these flowers look kind of like, you know, those little daffodils that have the little orange inside. I don't know, that's what it made me think of. So that's how I colored them. On the inside is where I use that Stampin' Up! Stamp and just colored that a little bit. I used my tracing wheel on the inside there, as you could see, just to add a little stitching, faux stitching detail. And I used some of that tea dye Distress Oxide to distress that paper a little bit. This is just plain ivory cardstock. And then there's my stamp on the back. So I hope you like it. I like this one too, but I think it's easier to use on a card. So, but I'll probably use this on a card too, actually. All right, so that was my first, my first two projects using the tag digital stamp. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one I used the chicken in the basket stamp, but I made a card. I used some of the same papers that I used on the first one, but I also used a couple other products. I used this Hey Chick stamp that I just got. It's from Creative Expressions, designed by Sam Poole. Love this stamp set. I used this Good Time stamp that I just hauled, actually, from Impression Obsession. I used this die set. This is also from Impression Obsession, and this is designed by Anna White. I love this set. It's the Crazy Stitched set. I used this tag and the background piece. I used, let's see, did I use tea dye Distress Oxide? Actually, no. I think for this one, I used Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. They're very similar. Tea dye is a little bit lighter, so, but otherwise they have the same kind of effect. I also used this paper. This is called Delicious by Authentique. I used that like butterscotch yellow kind of check in this card, and actually in another project too. So let me show you what I made with the chicken in the basket. And I did resize this. It's a little bit smaller than it comes on the original, but isn't that cute? Oh, I love it. And I learned this from Marilyn G, to add a little bit of shading to the bottom of your stamp to make it look like it's not floating. Thank you, Marilyn. That is a really good tip. And I think my coloring came out pretty good. I'm not an expert colorer. I'm really still learning. I've just started actually this year pretty much trying to alcohol color, or started last year, I guess. But I've been really doing it more this year. And okay, so these are those Impression Obsession dies that I distressed with some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. I heat embossed Hey Chick with some gold embossing powder, and I added a button. This is also from Dress It Up, and I added some white pearl cotton behind it just to add a little texture. This checker paper is from that Farmhouse Living paper pad. And yeah, I think it looks really cute. I need some more chicken sentiments because I don't have many. And this is the inside. I used my decollage scissors to create this border. I love that Good Time stamp. It's a little big for the inside of a card, but not so bad. Okay, sorry, I got a phone call, so I'm just picking this back up. I think I left off with this. This is a piece of ephemera from this paper pad that I just punched out and added a little bit of pearl cotton there. It's still pretty flat, but just adds a little touch to the inside. And I distressed the edges, not only with the decollage scissors, but with some Vintage Photo. And that's the back, just my logo. So I think that came out so cute. I love the gingham with the chicken. It just looks very farmy to me. So that's my next project. And for the last one, I used the chicken chowder recipe. And I used pretty much the same papers. I used that same check paper from the Authentique paper pad. I used a couple different die sets, and these are from Scrap Diva Designs. I am on her design team for this month, and I used the this round charcuterie board set, and I used this like second to biggest size for that. I also used another die of hers, and this is the kitchen utensil set, and I used the spoon. So let me show you what I made. I made a cute little tag, and I did resize the chicken chowder recipe so it would fit into this. And I colored it with alcohol markers, fussy cut it, and then I sprayed it with some glitter dust in silver, which is this. And this is the spoon from Erica, and I cut it out a couple times and paper pieced it so it would look like a different handle. Otherwise it just cuts out all, the same color. I hot glued on a few buttons. These are also from Dress It Up. I just like how they look on any project really, and I thought the colors picked up the colors in the recipe. And yeah, I think this is a really cute tag. This will be nice to put on like a gift basket or something like that, or just any gift really. I would use this as a regular gift tag. I backed it with some craft paper just to make it nice and sturdy. And it's just the cutest image. I just love it. I love Dianna's drawings. They're just so sweet. And you get a recipe too, so what's not to like, right? All right, so those are my projects, and I hope you like them. Thanks for joining me for this week's Saturday Morning Makes. I will link Jill's channel down below. I will link Dianna Marcum's digital stamp file down below as well. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be back soon with more crafty videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.